Microaggressions.
Come on, Gramps. Get a move on that thing.
Have you ever heard someone speak to another person and think, I can't believe he just said that? Or perhaps this has happened to you, or someone you know.
You guys look like you're about to pop. I guess your due date is coming up.
No, I still have a long way to go.
I'm actually not pregnant.
Or perhaps someone said or did something that made you feel insignificant.
Hey, George, I need 2 more roasts.
Sure, but I'm Robert.
You guys look so much alike.
Because we're both Puerto Rican?
Or maybe someone said something that made you feel like something's wrong with you.
Here's your coffee. Whoa, are you okay? Your hand feels like a dead fish.
I'm a sweaty person. I have a condition. Thanks for the coffee. Are these examples of microaggressions? The answer is yes. All of these situations are examples of microaggressions. Microaggressions are a statement, action, or incident that is usually indirect, subtle, or unintentional discrimination against members of a marginalized group. To marginalize a person or group means to treat them as insignificant or unimportant. Microaggressions is a word you may never have heard of, but more than likely you've encountered them in some form or another. They create hurtful and uncomfortable situations. Microaggressions can come in several different forms. Behavioral, such as catcalling. Environmental, like an explicit poster in public view. And verbal, like telling someone of color that they are well-spoken. Many of us use common phrases we've heard for a long time that are actually microaggressions. Just Jew them down on the price. You people. Don't be an Indian giver. That's so gay. Ugh, we got gypped. Everyone, including marginalized group members, harbor biases and prejudices. These biases and prejudices can lead us to act in hurtful and discriminating ways towards others. In previous videos, we learned about implicit bias. Bias and stereotypes that we all have play a large part in why we use microaggressions. Do microaggressions happen in the workplace? A 2019 Forbes survey found 68% of Americans surveyed think that microaggressions in the workplace are a problem. 26% of those surveys said they experienced a microaggression at work, while 22% were unsure. Further, 36% said they have witnessed a microaggression at work. 24% were unsure. A number of workers are unsure if they've experienced or witnessed a microaggression. This is largely due to being unsure of what exactly constitutes a microaggression. Let's look at some examples of microaggressions in the workplace.
You look tired. Are you feeling okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I guess I forgot to put on makeup today.
I was just wondering, where is your family originally from?
Yeah, we're from Pittsburgh.
Like what country?
The United States of America?
You took your braids out. Your hair is so springy.
Yeah, it is.
You know, for a woman, you're a pretty good driver.
Yeah, thanks.
Hello, everyone. It's time to get our meeting started.
We need somebody to take notes today. Lindsay, you're always so good at that.
Sure, I can take notes again.
Hey, Jen, did you order lunch for us?
No, but I can order lunch.
Give me a second to straighten this painting. I'm so OCD.
I didn't realize you have OCD. I have OCD too. It can make the day really challenging.
Well, I don't actually have OCD. I guess I'm just particular.
Perhaps you've been in some of these situations, or perhaps some of these examples just don't seem like that big of a deal. Doesn't the name microaggressions imply a small issue? Microaggressions are kind of like a cut or a bruise. One small injury may not seem like that much, but what if your body was covered in thousands of cuts or bruises from repeated injuries? Microaggressions have a cumulative effect, and being on the receiving end of repeated microaggressions can be very damaging. How do you handle a microaggression when it occurs? Here are some questions to consider when you're deciding if or how you should respond. If I respond, will I put myself into physical danger? Will this negatively affect our relationship? If I don't respond, am I conveying this behavior is acceptable? Will an argument ensue if the offender becomes aggressive that I responded? If I don't respond, will I regret it? Not addressing the microaggression may reinforce biases and increases the likelihood that the microaggression will be repeated. However, not addressing the incident may be the best solution in the moment. Here are some questions to consider when you're deciding if or how you should respond. Ask a clarifying question in the moment, such as,
What do you mean by that?
Perhaps you misunderstood what they were asking. You can also wait a little bit and privately talk with the person.
Can we talk for a minute?
Yeah, sure.
You can acknowledge that their comment or action was hurtful to you. Asking a question this way gives the person a chance to explain themselves and open up the conversation for further beneficial dialogue. If you are a bystander to a microaggression, the person who committed the microaggression may become more upset or agitated that you are stepping in as a bystander. You speaking up help or hurt the situation. You feel you need to speak up as someone who was also hurt by the microaggression?
About the conference call earlier.
You will need to decide if addressing the microaggression with the group is the best, if you need to wait and address the microaggression with the person who committed it at a later time. Perhaps this seems a bit blown out of proportion. Are people being too sensitive these days? In the same survey, only 10% felt that they had actually committed a microaggression themselves. Microaggressions have always been hurtful. Just because it's something that doesn't offend you doesn't mean that it's not something that can be hurtful or offensive to someone else. If someone comes to you and says you've committed a microaggression against them, here are some steps you can take. Resist being defensive. It's hard to confront someone who you think has hurt you, so make sure that you listen with respect and intent. Don't make it about you. Sincerely apologize.
I could tell you didn't mean to make me uncomfortable, but I wanted to be honest about how it made me feel.
I'm sorry. I didn't think about how invasive I was being.
Thanks for apologizing. I really appreciate it.
I'm sorry for what I said to you this morning.
Thank you. Forgive you. If you need to speak with someone further regarding a microaggression, please reach out to your manager or reach out to a member of the HR team. At Jack Cooper, we want to foster an environment of teamwork, collaboration, and innovation, which requires communication. As we become more aware of what microaggressions actually are, and realizing that if we commit one, we can apologize, we can begin to communicate and work better together.